We shift gears to see then, we have our issues ready. We have our strategy ready. Now we would like to have an interview with a scientist. We would like to have an interview with a scientist on a matter so that we get more insights, so that we report on a story. So, so for interviews, you're either looking for maybe three things in an interview. With the political ones, you would like a key leader to admit to something, right? You want them to admit to an issue. You want them to reveal, to answer questions about a policy issue. And you're going there knowing what sort of sound bites you want. You would like them to reveal an issue, and the way in which you frame the questions will determine the sort of story that you get, the sort of answers that you receive. And you might be going to an interview hoping to get one thing, but just the way you answer the questions then determines how much more info you get on top of on top of the story that you will get. Okay, is it there? So, for interviews, you need to prepare well, know the background to the matter. The interview subject, you really need to prepare well and know what's current. If we are talking about GMOs, a bill has been time-barred in Parliament. The issues that we are speaking about now in the messaging, it's important to have a background on what has happened before and anything that has happened, any current issues that has happened after that. Get current information on the subject, what's happening, what has been reported in the media, both here in Kenya and also internationally, about the subject. That helps you to come up to speed with what's happening. Sometimes you find international media reporting issues about our back issues in our backyard earlier than we get them, right? So it's just important to have a background check on what was the latest thing that happened in that industry, just so that you are ahead of your interviewer as well. Any policy statements that were shared recently or about the subject, those you must have at hand and interrogate them as well. So we then need to get a good interviewee, because then if we are looking for data from the National Biosafety Authority or data on the bill on commercialization of biotechnology, then we are better off with a good interviewer, with a good interviewee who will be able to handle that topic. First, the authority bit of it, that they are authorized to speak. Okay, then if they are not authorized to speak, then they are the technical person. Maybe they can give you background information to support your interview. Also, when you're doing interviews, look at the medium. There are some knowledgeable people within an institution, but they might be camera shy. So then it's important to match with the medium. Sometimes they really have no choice. Sometimes they really have no choice, especially if they have to go, if the matter is at hand, and they must be the ones to go on TV because they are the main representative of that institution, right? Then after getting the good interviewee and the medium, then it's important to ensure that your interviewee is at ease, okay? It's important to just ensure that your interviewee is at ease, either by asking other background questions before, so that your interviewee is not just bombarded from the word go, it's better to just set the stage for the interviewer. So questions for the interviews need to be crafted well, with the end goal in mind. What do you want from the interviewee? Do you want the interviewee to admit that there were lapses, in the process, in the procedure that was happening? Do you want the interviewee to reveal information that they're still holding on to? Then it's important to know what will be the hook to your story. Asking open-ended question will enable more open-ended answers. All right. So we are speaking about a certain directive that has been issued on biosafety. Before we get there, let's ask the easier questions. Where it all started, that allows you to get all the information. Where did it all start? When was the directive issued? But avoid one in two questions, all right? Because those are questions that will stop the conversation. So asking two important questions following each other. That would, if the interviewee is shifty, they would decide which question to answer. When was the directive issued? Were you aware of what was going on in the irregularities that were happening? And for how long has that been going on? So like giving two important questions following each other in one might allow the interviewee to escape the interview. All right, so when you come to the actual interview, it's just important to be empathetic. We've said here that media people they shouldn't be beholden to, to the world, or the world shouldn't be beholden to them. They're just people who've been given work to do for a given time. They should be humble people. People should not fear the media. So consider empathy. Introduce the subject, and then allow the interviewee to get comfortable, to be at ease. Okay, appreciate the work they're doing before you get to the questions. It could be about an experience they had. It's just a way to cultivate trust that we are doing this in public interest. We are not doing this to try to pin you down. We are doing this in public interest. Then it's important to ask open-ended questions and also listen to the answer so that you're ready with follow-up questions. Okay, you're ready with follow-up questions. Yeah, so I said it that some interviews are geared towards either accepting responsibility, confirming a major release, or a major thing that's happening in the scientific sector, in the scientific world. So follow-up questions are key to help you gather more data. It will also help the interviewee to steer clear from, whatever, scripted or rehearsed, just in case the interviewee had rehearsed. That's why we need the real experts who knows what's happening on the ground for the technical interviews. So, coming to the technical surrounding of your interview, it's important to, for such interviews, it's just important to record so that you're giving maximum attention to the interview that you're doing. You're giving maximum attention to listening instead of listening and writing. So it's an important thing to record. While recording interviews, it's important to just let the interviewer know that this is an on-the-record interview. I am recording this interview so that I get it right, all right? So that I get it right, so that what you're saying I get that right. Okay? Then allow the time for question and answer. If it's a live interview, there really might be no time for silence, okay? So you step in. But where an interviewee is answering questions and they're pausing to think about it, that's okay if it's a recorded interview, because a recorded interview will be edited eventually. Okay? Ask questions in a different way to promote better understanding, to promote better understanding or rewarding, especially if it's a very technical thing. Ask the question in a different way. So in interviewing, avoid the allure to be objective, especially where we are looking for an alternative voice in controversial things. And we've talked about GMOs as one of the controversial subjects. So avoid any subjects that would come there with scaremongering. Okay, so the technical bits for your interviews. So record your interviews to allow you time to listen later, allow you time to listen to what is being asked so that you're able to ask follow-up questions. Then ensure your equipment is tested earlier, charged, well charged, and you can set up in the shortest time. And this is especially for TV, very, very key. There's one time I went to do an interview, TV, and I was using one of our correspondents. When he arrived, he didn't quite check his equipment well. He arrived late and then didn't quite check his equipment well. So we were recording against some blood, some blood. And the interview took a while. Yeah, so when we went back to the newsroom, pictures were blue. Yeah, so it had to be repeated. That's really, really disappointing, given that you've taken the interview, a lot of time for the interviewers. So avoid sending scripts to the interviewee. Yeah, avoid sending scripts. Avoid sending scripts. It's just best to, because that promotes rehearsing. Yeah, so ensure that you capture the quotes well. That's why it's just important to record. We talked about, and I think it borders on an ethical issue, giving your script to your interviewee to read through. That means you're ceding your work to the interviewee. All journalists should avoid that. Avoid that. That's your work. Their work is to answer the questions. Your work is to do a story accurately. If you must, then those are the direct quotes so that you do not misquote. So direct quotes are actually direct quotes, and that's why we put quotation marks so that you're saying verbatim what the interviewee said. Ensure facts are well captured, and scientists should have fact sheets ready for media. Yeah, those are items that we must always have available for media, which promote better understanding. Okay? And then, but for us, we really need to go beyond the facts and the fact sheets to avoid being lazy, really. So sometimes the fact sheets are so well written in the press release that you find some media houses, especially the online ones, just posting the whole press release over there, That's laziness, to say the least. It is real laziness. Yeah, so avoid that, okay? Then it's our business to report accurately so that we don't put scientists in disrepute through our inaccurate reporting. So go for an interview with the aim of getting the story, and then then report correctly. But on the flip side, we also have difficult, even though this doesn't necessarily relate to science, we have difficult interviewees. For difficult interviewees, like the links I gave some links. We can look at them later. I gave some links to some interviews that have been done in the past. For difficult interviewees, stay calm, ask the question in a different way. But your end goal is to get something, to get an agenda out of the interviewee. So for difficult interviewees, stay calm, rephrase the question, come back to the question. So I gave there are two key interviews that I gave there. One for a very recent interview that was done in Kenya by senior editors to President William Ruto. I don't know whether you watched that. They kept on bringing him back to the real thing, you know. The editors kept on bringing him back to the real issue of killing of protesters and of accountability in government. Yeah, so those are interviews that we can watch later. Yes, so that is about interviewing, preparedness, and etiquette in interview. Allow your interviewee to say what it is that they have to say. Don't catch words from their mouth. Allow them to express themselves. Even if they are forgetting their words, allow them to express themselves. That cultivates a trust between yourself and the interviewee. Right, that's about it in a snapshot for interviewing.